All right. I'm going to show you how to simplify the information here, okay? Meaning reproducing the same information but with less numbers, okay? Now, when these two multiply, 6 times 2, that's going to make 12. So the numbers multiply like normal. But exponents, when they multiply, they add. So n to the 10th is the end result. All right? Same rule here. So 3 times 1, that's going to produce a 3. Then you do the p's. P times p to the third, that's going to leave me with p to the fourth. And t to the third times t to the fourth is going to become t to the seventh. So when variables are multiplying with exponents, the exponents simply just add, okay? So if they have the same base and they multiply, the exponents just add. All right, simplify this. Now, when an exponent has an exponent, okay, they multiply. So because this right here is going to be 2 to the third times 2 to the third. Again, they have the same base, so these two are just going to add. So that would produce 2 to the 6. So 2 to the 6 to the power of 4 is going to produce 2 to the 24. And that's it. So when an exponent has an exponent, the exponents just multiply. Okay, let's simplify this. Let's do this one first. So squared, everything gets squared. So 3 times 3, that'll make 9. X times x, that'll make x squared. Y to the fourth times y to the fourth is going to make y to the eighth. Now this is still multiplying with a simplified version of this. So let's do, so this is going to be negative 2 times negative 2, that makes 4. And y times y, that's going to make y squared. Then this is going to the third power. So 4 times 4 times 4, that's going to make 64. And then these two, like I said, an exponent with an exponent is going to multiply, so it's going to be y to the 6. So these two are still multiplying. So that's going to make 9 times 64. So let's do that over here. 64 times 9. 9 times 4, that makes 36. And 9 times 6, that's going to be 54 plus 3, 57. So that's going to be 576. X squared times, there's a 1 here, so it's going to still just produce x squared. Y to the 8th times y to the 6th. That's going to make y to the 14th, and we're done. Okay, now let's simplify some more stuff. Now we're simplifying with dividing. So if multiplying means addition, then division means subtraction. So g to the third divided by g is going to make g to the second. H to the fifth times h to the divided by h to the second is going to make h to the third. All right. Now we're going to go over here. So this is being squared first. So everything has to get squared before we begin. So that's going to make a 9. That's going to make p to the 6. And that's going to make 49. And we are done. Here. Now, this does look complicated until you notice this. Everything is to the power of 0. And the rule is anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, I could have made this look even more complicated, but anything to the power of 0, the answer is 1. All right, now these negative signs, let's talk about that. Negative signs mean that they're on the wrong side of the fraction. So when they get put back on the correct side of the fraction, they become positive. So I'm going to put the r on the correct side, the p stays there, and the n comes down here. Now, is there any division that can happen? No. We are done. Okay. I have one over here. one more over here. Okay, so before I do anything, now let's deal with the 5 and the 20. So the 5 and the 20, I can simplify. That's going to make 1 and negative 4. Okay? Now I'm also going to put everything to the correct side. So R2 does belong down here. R3 doesn't belong up here, it belongs down here. R3. T4 does belong up here. T7 does belong here. U5 doesn't belong there. U5 belongs up here. Okay? So now we simplify a little bit more. Let's see, this stays 1/4 or just 4 on the bottom because we don't need the 1 on the top. So 4, make sure this comes out to be negative. Then this is going to be R to the 5th. And that's going to be T to the 4th, T to the 7th, and U to the 5th. Okay? Now this is going to simplify. So T to the 4 and T to the 7, they can divide, so they're going to subtract. And they're going to make a negative 3. So a negative 3 belongs on the bottom. So that's going to make U to the 5 stays in the top, 4 stays in the bottom, R5, T3. Okay, there we go. Now, 25 to the power to the half exponent is the same thing as saying the square root of 25. Okay, well, the square root of 25 is 5. The 3 here is the same thing as me writing 27 to the 1/3. That's radical form. This is exponential form. And this equals 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 will make 27. The cube root of 125 can also be written as that. And the cube root of 25, remember, you're looking for the same number 3 times, then when you multiply them, make 125. And it's going to be 5. Okay? Now 64 to the 2 over 3, that means there's a 3 here, a 64 is in here, and when we're done, we're going to square it. Now you could square 64 and then cube root that, but that'll make it much more difficult. I'd rather shrink it first and then square it. So what number times itself again makes 64? That's going to make 4. Because 4 times 4 times 4 makes 64. Then we have to square it, and that's going to make 16. So you saw that is the exponent, and that is the root. So the numerator, so this one's going to be 36, and it's just going to be square rooted, and then after, it's going to be cubed. So the square root of this, right, the square root of this is going to be 6, and then we cube it, so 6 times 6 is 36, times 6 is going to be 180 plus 36, so that's 216. All right. Over here, so 6 to the power of something makes 216. Now, you already know the base is 6, so you know it's going to keep on multiplying by 6. So 6 times 6 makes 36 times 6. Oh, wait a minute, that makes 216. So x is 3. All right, no interruption. We'll start over here. So here, you're trying to figure out what x would make 5. Okay, so you can't work it correctly because they don't have the same base. So we're going to make this into 5 squared. Okay, and then it's to the power of x minus 1 equals 5 to the power of 1, right? So this multiplies, right? So it's going to be 5 to the 2x minus 2 equals 5 to the 1. So now that they have the same base, we can write the equation like this. 2x minus 2 equals 1, because that's what we need. We need 5 to this power to equal 5 to that power. So we're going to add 2, 2x equals 3, divide by 2, x equals 3 over 2. Now I can work it in the new equation. So let's try it out just in case. 3 over 2 minus 1 equals 5. So 3 over 2 minus 1 leaves you with 25 to a half. And the square root of, so this is the same thing as saying the square root of 25 equals 5. And that does equal 5. And they do equal each other. So that works. All right.